Hey everybody, it's Mike Young from Mike Young Real Estate right there. And guess what? You may be watching this on our group, Raleigh Community Information, RCI.one. Just type in any browser, http.rci.one. We've got like 44,000 people in the group. It's an awesome group, an awesome, straightforward, honest group of reviews, recommendations, community news, etc., etc. And we try to make this as valuable a group as possible. So go ahead and join us, please. RCI.one, or check out all of our groups at trianglegrapevine.org. All right, where do I even begin? I want to do an update. I want to do an update of the Raleigh Triangle market, real estate market, buy, sell, rent. Renting is especially a hot issue right now here in late April of 2023. Hopefully you guys got those tax returns done and you're ready to concentrate now on what's going on in the community, what's going on in the real estate market, and how does it affect me? Well, first of all, unless you've been under a rock, and if you've been a homeowner the last few years, you have very much benefited from an increase in prices. And anybody can tell you that. All you got to do is just look at your tax bill when that comes in, or I can do a comparative market analysis for you for no cost. Just reach out to me at 919-780-4170. 919-780-4170. Send me a text. Anyway, let's talk about what's going on. Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, the Triangle area. I moved here in 2007. I've been a licensed realtor since 2006 before I got here. Okay. I was a licensed real estate agent, been one continuously, which is way more experience than almost everyone has out there in real estate, believe it or not. Most people are new. It's unfortunate, but I want to give you the benefit of my experience. Thank you for spending some time with me here and listening to my market update. What's happening with the market in terms of supply and demand? As we know, all markets are affected by supply and demand. That's what drives the markets. That's what drives the prices, either up or down. And what can I tell you about people moving into the area? Well, what attracted me to the area in 2007 was all these articles that say Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Triangle is like one of the best places to live in the U.S. Had all these boxes checked. It was awesome. Eventually, they got me to move here in 2007. And these articles are still coming out. People are still moving in now. How many people are moving in? Well, Wake County used to be the center of everything. We figured based on quick searches online, you can find like 60 to 70 people per day are moving into Wake County. That's a lot of people. What about the whole area? Because since prices have gone up, what's happened is we're seeing a dramatic expansion in the outer suburbs now too. And of course, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill doesn't really have too many like giant, one side isn't facing an ocean or a giant bay or something like that. So we can expand in all directions, and that's what people are doing. So my best guesstimate in terms of putting all the information together and coming up with a number would be something like 150 people a day are moving into this area. 150 people a day. So that's going to be putting pressure on prices. Now, if you look across the country, and certain news little tidbits have come out recently saying, hey, the real estate market is slowing. It's slowing. Of course we know it's slowing. I mean, raise your hand out there if you knew anybody who's flipping houses within the last year or two, okay? Literally going under contract, especially on a new build. By the time it's built, they flip it to somebody else and they make like $50,000 to $100,000, which is crazy, but that was happening. That's not normal. That's not sustainable. We know this, okay? So things have started to change. A lot of this has been fueled by the interest rates going up. When interest rates for mortgages, most people need mortgages, go up, that affects the demand of the properties. So how can you get a better rate? Actually, you can talk to me, 919-780-4170. I'll give you 1% back on your mortgage amount, but you got to go through me, directly through me. So just reach out, send me a text, 919-780-4170, even for refinances. You don't have to buy anything. So they've been going up. People keep moving in though. Raleigh is not like the rest of the area. A lot of what happened too over the pandemic years, the past few years, has been fueled not only by just wanting to stay at home. You hear that vibe, I want to stay at home. Okay, so get a bigger house or move somewhere else. I don't know. Depends on what's going on with your life, but also the printing of money by the federal government. It just put more cash in people's pockets. They were willing to spend more. They're not willing to spend as much anymore. They don't have all the money anymore. They've tightened all that stuff down. and mortgage rates have gone up. So of course I've seen a pullback on the housing, maybe a return to normal. That's what I would call it. Okay. Because we're definitely not into a buyer's market right now. And I've done videos on buyer's market, sellers markets. Check those out on my channel, MikeYoungRealEstate.com. It's the YouTube channel, MikeYoungRealEstate.com. That's me, Mike Young Real Estate. That's my YouTube channel. Check it out. Anyway, we're more of a balanced market. We were in one of the strongest sellers markets I have ever seen since 2006, being licensed continually and in practice, to just pulling back from that. I'm seeing that all over the country, all over the world, really, for that matter. And a lot of it was a bubble, an asset bubble, which is brought on by the printing of money and other reasons that had to do with the pandemic. It's too bad, but a lot of places are really going to pull back. I think there's a lot more to pull back in a lot of places. It's not just a return to normal. They just went way out of control. Places out in BFE, wherever, there's no reason for their rent prices to have soared 30% and their home prices, because the demand was never there. Okay, and it's still not there. It's definitely not going to be there going forward. There are certain areas of the country, however, where the demand is still there, aka Google and Apple have announced headquarters right in the triangle, and the demand is still going to be there going forward. This is going to be continuing demand, and Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill triangle area is that area. So what's happened with rental prices? Even if the sales have slowed down a little bit, the average prices have come down a little bit, just a little bit, okay? Like I said, it's more like a balanced market we're entering into a balanced market from one of the strongest sellers markets I have ever seen. Well, that's not really happening with the rental market. And that's what the statistics have shown here in the last week that have come out. All right. In most places of the US, they saw the rental prices go up. I'd say like from 2021 to 2022, April, most places, I think on average, believe it or not, average rent went up like 16 to 18%, something like that, across the country. Didn't matter where you were, your rent went up that much if you were renting. And I've never seen that kind of a jump before. And like I said, I kind of equate that more to an asset bubble in most places that has started to deflate. Now, things are different here in Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and they have been in the past. Like I said, I was licensed in 2006, which was actually the peak of the last real estate market, and I watched things deflate. They did deflate in Raleigh, Durham, but not like they did in other places, and especially certain other places that just totally collapsed. And it's because there was a strong market, job market here. There has been, there still is, and there will be going into the future. And so let's talk about that. Guess what? Even though rents went up by close to 20% from 2021 April to 2022 April, in most places, these were just released, from 2022 April to 2023, where we are right now, April, the rents pretty much stayed flat or actually went down on average. Okay, it's kind of more of returning to normal, like I was talking about. But guess what? Guess who led the list in terms of the highest rent increase from April 2022 to April 2023? Of course, Raleigh, North Carolina. 16.6% average increase in that 1 year's time. All right. Now, who else has been up there and who has been losing it? Let me just give you some examples so you can kind of put this into context. Charlotte, I think, is number 3 or in the top 5. A couple places in Ohio. And Ohio has been okay, Charlotte's more comparable to, Charlotte's just west of here, south and west. Another big metro area here in the North Carolina area where people are moving to. Okay, that makes sense. But Ohio, not seeing the big influx. Indiana, is he on the list? Not seeing a big influx. They were just way behind to begin with, in my opinion. Okay, Missouri, another one. Are people really moving to Missouri? I'm not really hearing about it. Okay, so again, I think these areas these are other areas that were on the high list in terms of rents up in a year's time, April 2022 to April 2023. But Raleigh led the list. And look, you can see the difference between Ohio and Indiana and Missouri. Okay, and there's multiple cities in those areas that made the top 10. And Charlotte and Raleigh, which is number 1. Raleigh's number 1 on this list. Is because, in my opinion, we're still seeing a very, very strong influx of people to the Raleigh Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill areas, Wake Forest, Cary, Rolesville, Youngsville, all these places, okay? we're seeing it. All right. And it's all over the area. Like I said, we're seeing a lot of the growth and a lot of the most dramatic turnarounds in real estate in the more distant suburbs of the Raleigh area, anywhere within driving distance of Raleigh. So it's been such a big change because I can remember just, I'm 53 years young now, but I've been in real estate for, since 2006 and been in the area since 2007. I remember, you know, the housing market in 2011 and 12 and even 13. It was so abysmal. You couldn't, you had to give away houses, it seemed like. And that was just because that was an overall downturn. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point again because these giant tech corporations keep announcing they're moving over here. There's nothing you can do. That's just going to fuel the demand. Okay. So if you're a homeowner and you've been a homeowner for the past couple of years, man, you're making out. You know, you're making out. You may even be thinking, because I've seen it here in Raleigh Community Information Group, about selling, taking your money and going to some other cheaper area. And actually, it's a good time to do that. It's still a good time to do that. Just call me, contact me, 919-780-4170. Send me a text. But if you're renting, it's a lot tougher. And I understand that. And I throw out my greatest sympathies, because we don't control the market here. One of the reasons why rents are going up, because the price of everything keeps going up around here. And of course, taxes, property taxes, if they haven't got you yet, as an owner of a property that you may be renting out, they're going to get you. Insurance costs keep going up. Property taxes keep going up. The cost to make repairs. I mean, just the whole home improvements business everyone's been behind. All the contractors, everything. The cost of everything has gone up in this area. And I remember when I moved to the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area I moved from DC area, okay? And back in the day, I remember, this is 2007. It wasn't even that long ago. It was like being on vacation over here in Raleigh, because there were all these big roads. There was hardly any cars on them. Everyone was chill. I remember driving on the road, and you know how you come to a larger road, you'd be in a let's say 3 lanes wide, and one of the lanes ends, right? The one on the right. I remember everyone would move out of that lane early, really early, so that by the time that lane actually ended, there was nobody in there, and everyone was friendly. Everyone was, just moving over so early. No one was cutting anybody off in traffic. Real nice, Southern hospitality to the driving styles. That's not what I'm seeing anymore. I'm not seeing that. Just look in the Raleigh Community Information Group. I'm just talking about just comments on what's actually going on out there in the community. It's changed. Raleigh is like cutting edge now, high tech. And actually, as far as I know, Raleigh may be soon surpassing Austin, Texas, which I have always kind of looked at as the rival city. And it has shown in these rental statistics, believe it or not, in this 1 year that just finishes now, where Raleigh's rents have gone up 16.6%. In that same time frame, Austin, Texas's rents have gone down over 11%. Down. Okay, let that sink in. My own thinking is that Austin, Texas is more of a manufacturing, the tech hub, but they got a lot more open land for giant manufacturing facilities. And there's been quite a few that have opened up and have been announced here in North Carolina too. Don't get me wrong, but not like Austin, Texas, not like Texas. It's so vast. So it's more conducive. It's more centrally located to those manufacturing facilities. And the manufacturing jobs generally don't pay as well, so it's not going to impact the market to the degree that higher paying, like IT or management type roles will. I think we're seeing more of that in the Triangle area, which is awesome from a real estate perspective. But if you're renting, like I said, what's my advice to you if you're renting? Well, the rents have continued to go up, and I'm seeing prices a little bit, start to moderate. I'm seeing the strong sellers market starts to wane. So it's actually, there's a little bit of a window to get into purchasing right now, where it's starting to become to your advantage. Because it's one thing if rents were going up 16.6%. It's another thing if at the same time for a year that the cost of the average house went up 16.6%, which I don't think it has actually. It's lagging. So we're seeing the jumps up in the rental costs for renters, and we're not seeing that in houses. And yes, of course, you're going to say, well, Mike, it's great that the housing prices really haven't gone up, but the mortgage rates, I'm like another $300 a month now because of the mortgage. Well, you can always refinance. Like I said, when you do refinance, I give you 1% back. So if you look at the average mortgage rates, they've already come down since last fall, and they may continue to come down. I cannot predict the future, but I will tell you that wherever you lock your house in is where you lock it in. And I cannot predict the future there either. But if you look at the trends, almost always the prices go up. There was a few outliers there, like in 2006 when I got my license, when people saw like an overall decrease in housing values. But that was based on the, back in the day, 2007, 2008 mortgage crisis. And a lot of that stuff that hopefully will never happen again will never happen again. So that's the buying opportunity that existed there before. I don't think that's going to exist now. Although, like I said, this latest bubble, I dare to say bubble, okay, I think was created by printing way too much free money and injecting into the system. But that's, like I said, the subject of another video. We just have to react to that. So I'm giving you my advice from somebody who has a lot of experience and has been licensed since 2006. Reach out to me. Of course, talk to me for a free initial consultation. Actually, if you're a buyer, there's never any cost actually. And if anything, I might give you some money back, like we talked about with the mortgages. If you're a seller, I'm going to give you the best rate. You're going to get the best value from me, no question, and all the experience as well. A lot of times, if you go with somebody who is going to not necessarily charge you the full 6% on a listing, they're going to cut you off in other ways, not me. You're going to get everything, the best value you possibly can get. So let me know what you think about what's going on with the rental market. I'm curious. I mean, maybe we're in a rental bubble right now. It's hard to say. I mean, but look around in Raleigh. There's so many apartment buildings going up, and yet the rents still keep going up. I remember when I talked to people when I first moved to the area back in like 2007, 8, 9, 10. There were people who worked in other cities were like, oh, the rents in Raleigh, they're just not there enough. They're not high enough for us to make like the margins we're looking to. And I think, Raleigh is leapfrogging right now a lot of areas. That's what's going on. I'm definitely seeing that. And in my opinion, I don't think it's going to go back. Yes, it's going to be difficult to get through this transition period for a lot of people. I see in Raleigh community information, for example, people who have been here for generations, their family, and they're like, okay, now it's time for me to buy a house. And shit, I cannot buy a house. Look what I can make. I mean, a lot of times you need the highest paying skills around here. It's a very competitive job market to be able to afford something now. And they got to move out of the area. It's a sad situation. I've seen it in Raleigh community information and in the other groups. And like I said, join the groups, go to Raleigh, RCI.1, go to trianglegrapevine.org. Also go to Triangle Foodies. We have the Triangle Foodies group. We got a really cool event coming up here soon too with the Foodies group. So check that out. Trianglefoodies.org is where you go for that one. And actually, trianglegrapevine.org, click on groups. That's what has all the groups. And it's a bittersweet message here to deliver. It always is. And we need some type of, hack here to get into the housing market for people. I know that we're involved in some projects now that are more like, the tiny homes. I mean, do people really need as big a houses as the average house is these days? I don't know. Maybe if you have 3, 4, 5, 6 kids and dogs, then yes you do. Okay. But if you don't, then no, probably not. Even if you're working from home, you can have a dedicated spot. I have my studio here, okay, where I'm doing my videos in the house. And believe me, we have a very, very small living space, just enough. And that's it, nothing more. So that is one of the hacks you can use. And actually, I may even have some of my own projects coming up soon that may help out in that regard. So stay tuned. Give me a like. Go to MikeYoungRealEstate.com because that's the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get more content there. You may be watching this on the YouTube channel. I don't know. It's going to be on the YouTube channel. It's going to be on the Facebook groups. Even on LinkedIn, we've got an we've got a Raleigh Community Information group on LinkedIn. Hook up with me there on LinkedIn. You'll find me. Just join the group. You'll find me. Raleigh Community Information on LinkedIn. So I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to reading your comments. I think that the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area triangle is one of the best areas and continues to be one of the best areas, if not anywhere, to move to. So I'm very, very much, a supporter and a cheerleader of that. Okay. And it's not just because I'm a licensed realtor. Okay. Believe me, I was telling people, if you go back like a year and look at some of my videos, I was telling people, if I were you, I'd hold off. Okay. This was about a year ago. Hold off on buying that house right now. Okay. Unless you are going to stay there for 5 to 10 years. I was saying this, okay? And I was pissing off a lot of realtors. I will tell you, I was getting a lot of negative feedback because I need to tell the truth. I need to be honest. You need to be able to trust me, to not mislead you. And you need to recognize that I am a professional in this industry and I'm giving you my best opinion on these different matters. And that opinion is from the truth. That opinion is not to line my own pockets with cash as it is with so many people and in so many businesses. And I'm sorry to say that, but I can be different. I don't have to be that way, and I'm not that way. And I appreciate you taking all the time to watch this video and listen all the way through. Give me a thumbs up. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Look forward to your comments. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.